Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I can't be here today. I know we have our introduction due today, so you can hand that in to me first thing on Monday. Hopefully by now I've had a chance to meet with each and every one of you to talk about your research question to make sure we have a valid question about human behavior that is worthy of a social scientist doing a study on. So we're going to move on to the next step, which will be methodology. So what we want to do now is we're going to have today as a work period to start thinking about how you're going to start collecting your data for your research. So if you're doing a psychology approach where you're looking at an individual's behavior, you have to do a minimum of 3 interviews. One of the person's behavior that's changing, and 2 people that are close to that person. So you want to start thinking about what types of questions, when you're going to do the interview, to find out how that behavior got changed and why. If you're going to be doing a sociology approach and you're going to be doing surveys, you want to start thinking about what types of questions you need to have on your survey that will bring you to an answer to your question. You need at least 10 questions, 15. I probably wouldn't go too much more than that because it gets a little too complicated. But what type of questions should you ask that are going to give you the answer to the question that you set out to research? And so that's why it was very important to make sure you have a good question to make sure your research is on task and doesn't go off on a side tangent. You need to think about how you're going to get that survey out into people's hands, how you're going to have an equal number of males, females, grade 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s, older or younger. So how you can make sure it's nice and fair and equal, so it will give you a good result. If you're doing an experiment, you need to think about how you're going to do the experiment, what factors might influence your results. Time of day you do the experiment, where you do the experiment, if you do the experiment with a male or a female, those sorts of things that might kind of influence your data. So you're going to make sure you have a nice, even, fair experiment or study that gives us good results so we can have good data and we can make some good conclusions. So spend your time today thinking about those questions, how you're going to get that lined out, and then we'll have a chance to chat next week to make sure we get this all lined out so we can move on to the third step. We'll be actually collecting your data and doing your research.